All right, let's talk about it. Browns lose 29-12 in Denver. Just a game where they never really seemed to get it going. I don't know what it was, but just rhythmically, both on offense and defense, they just could not get it moving for whatever reason. Um, I thought DTR played pretty decent. He had like one drive where he was like 1 for 6 or something like that in pass attempts. But the stat line's not really going to show. Again, he played decent. I thought he played decent, but again, the drops continue for Browns receivers, and it's just at some point they got to get it fixed. And if they keep dropping the ball like they have been doing for the last 2 weeks, there's going to be an issue. And really, if you think about it, and I know it's been brushed under the rug for the last couple of weeks, but David Njoku for 3 straight weeks has had pretty big drops. Last 2 weeks ago against Baltimore, I think it was a 3rd down and 2 or a 4th down and 2 in Ravens territory, and Njoku was wide open at the 1st down marker. He dropped the ball from Deshaun Watson. Again, Njoku had like 4 or 5 drops last week against the Steelers that got brushed underneath the rug because he had that great catch in the last drive to set up the Browns for the game-winning field goal. But today, he had a big drop that probably, if he caught the ball, probably would have scored a touchdown with it. But yeah, the amount of drops by the Browns receivers have just been terrible the last couple of weeks. They need to get that rectified pretty quick because you're going to have the 4th starting quarterback for this team this season. Next week, most likely, is Joe Flacco, who still has an arm. He's 38 years old. He's not young, but he's a vet. Doesn't move around. He has that arm. He can throw the ball. You're gonna have to catch the ball, and I understand it's hard having different quarterbacks every single week, but this is the job in the NFL. You're gonna have to make a catch. That's your job. You have to catch the ball no matter who's throwing you the ball. I thought that the Browns were having momentum. I thought the Browns were setting themselves up really nice early on in the 3rd quarter. I thought the Browns had a shot here. I thought really when the Browns were able to get the lead down to 2, when you were able to get that Harrison Bryant touchdown, we were able to get in the end zone after having 2 missed opportunities at the goal line in the 2nd quarter. And I'll say that last drive, the last field goal drive by the Browns, that's the one I thought was going to come back to haunt us in the end during halftime. And I kind of was right about that to a certain extent. But, getting into the end zone with that Harrison Bryant touchdown, you think, okay, fine. Finally, the Browns are getting momentum. This is where the defense, anchors down all the mistakes that we've been seeing. This is finally where the defense is going to come through and it's going to save the day. Then the Browns offense is going to get better because DTR is in a rhythm. He's going to get more confident and all this other stuff. And then you see that Amari Cooper drop with a 2-point conversion and you just go, well, that's going to suck. I thought the Browns personally should have went for the extra point. I didn't really see the need of going for 2 in that moment because I feel like there's plenty of time left to make up that extra point. You're only down by 1 at that point, and then, leading on to what happened on the next drive, then you're down by 4 instead of 5, where you don't really need, you still need a touchdown, but, it's just different types of things that could have happened, but really, we all knew the death nail in the coffin for the Browns in this game was that god-awful play call by Kevin Stefanski, and I say god-awful because it was god-awful. The 2nd and 7 reverse at your own 30-yard line with Elijah Moore pitching it off to Pierre Strong, who has not touched the ball all game long, comes in, the play is blown up from the start already with the one defensive lineman coming in and was just going to pop Pierre Strong's head off, but he doesn't even, he's too focused on the defensive lineman coming in to give him a spear and just lets the ball go and drops the ball. And rightfully so, Kevin Stefanski has been criticized for that, and he should. It was a dumb decision by him. especially when you're deep in your own territory. I mean, not deep, but you're in your own territory. It's 2nd and 7. You have a brand new quarterback coming in because your already backup quarterback has got rocked. I mean, there's no need for that. There was no need for that to get cute. You're down by 5. You need to put together a good drive, and instead of coaching with his head, you're coaching with your gut, running the ball. You decided to get cute, and you got burnt. That's one thing that I have an issue with Stefanski. The other issue that we had, or at least that I have, is he didn't run the ball nearly enough. And I understand that the passing numbers are going to be skewed because you were down, by 2 scores. But running only 16 times on the league's worst rush defense in the league is pretty pathetic, in my opinion. I think that was a horrible decision by Stefanski to not run the ball more. And if you look at the scoring drives that we had, we ran the ball efficiently. I mean, we had 6-7 yard runs almost every run. Jerome Ford was popping off for like 11-yard runs, big gains. DTR was running for like 5 or 6. He had like 9 yards on one run. I mean, they were running the ball efficiently. I think they ran the ball 16 times for 84 yards with like over 5 yards per carry. I mean, the running game was working, and Stefanski went away from it. This game will go down, as an L for Stefanski. I think that this was a game where Stefanski definitely didn't help you. I think that play call, the 2nd and 7 play call with the reverse, that's the one I think you can blame Stefanski for that one, and I think that one was the one that lost you the game. Not to mention, on top of all the injuries that we had, it's clear that Denzel Ward is the anchor of that secondary because Greg Newsome got cooked all game long, no matter if he was on Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton especially, he just cooked Greg Newsome, just absolutely abused him. So Greg Newsome not doing himself any favors in the debate for a cornerback spot. And then, surprisingly, the Browns front 7, they didn't play good. Shows how much AWOC means to that team. You have Jordan Elliott going down, Miles going down for a bit, MJ Emerson going down for a bit. I mean, you just had on and on and on and on, injuries after injury piling up for the Browns. Then you have Amari Cooper go out with a rib injury, DTR having a concussion after that late hit. The injuries are piling up for the Browns, and it's not good. It's not good right now. But I'm not getting all upset like a lot of Browns fans are. I know that some people are upset, but you're 7-4. The sky's not falling, not by the least. The Rams, next week you're playing. They're not that good of a football team, in my opinion. I think they're banged up too. Cooper Kupp, he's banged up. So I think you have an opportunity to exploit that as well. There's going to be a lot of Browns fans in the crowd there in LA. I think you can exploit that as well. Use that to your advantage for at least a home type advantage on the road. But yeah, I mean, from the beginning of the game, you could just tell the Browns were just not in rhythm. They were not in sync with one another. It was just very awkward, very weird, and uncharacteristic of them this game. But yeah, I'm not going nuts about this loss because the Browns are 5-2 in their last 7 games. Okay, we weren't going to win every single week. I understand that. It hurts a little bit more just because the Broncos are an AFC team, so tiebreakers and all of that can kind of play into an effect in the next couple of weeks. But you're going to have to bounce back, with games against Jacksonville coming up, Houston, a couple other teams there, Cincinnati at the end of the year. So there's a couple more games that you can make up the AFC loss with for tiebreakers. But yeah, I mean, I think you could say JOK. On a positive note, JOK still looks amazing. He's having one of the best years of anybody in the league. I I mean, I thought he played good. Cedric Tillman looked pretty decent in the first half. He kind of disappeared in the second half. But nice to finally see him get going on the offensive end. I think those are probably the two best stories that can come out from today. Not a lot to celebrate about with the loss, but sky's not falling. I'm not worried about it just yet. But you got to win next week. You cannot come home against Jacksonville 7-5 because I think Jacksonville's a pretty decent team. But yeah, you got to win this one next week, and I think next week is pretty important. Not going to a must-win yet, but it'd be nice to have this one so you have more of a cushion going into Jacksonville. So you go into Jacksonville 8-4 instead of 7-5. I think that's a lot better for this team. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys and all your support, and I will see you guys all in another video. Take care.